Sit down, have a drink, enjoy life.
Oh, I really shouldn't be talking to strangers.
Like an ale, straight up.
What? Get away! You'll change like the rest! Monsters hidden in all my friends! There's things older than Darkspawn. And once you're in the story, they find you. See? I found copies. All from the same pen, and older than the ones in song. Dormant my ass! Take them! I want out! I won't disappear chasing a lie! I won't!
This ale is perfect with a slow roast. A plate of your best soup. And bring it when it's hot.
The surface must be so interesting.
Can you believe King Endrin turned against his...
You're not welcome here, exile. I don't care if you're a Grey Warden. I liked your brother. If you need to speak to one of my patrons, do it quickly. But don't expect me to serve you. You have some nerve.
Afternoon, stranger. You looking for a stool to share a brew? I recommend the Lycan Ale. They brew it downstairs. Name's Naveen. I fight with Prince Balin's Expeditionary Field Unit. Yourself? You don't say. Good folks, Wardens. I was in the Deep Roads when that one came by. What was his name? Dukan, Dunka... something like that. I met him, sure. Good man. Solid. He knows what we go through in the Deep Roads. Not many do. Not even the ones who live this close. You have to be on the front lines. Darkspawn. Not much use in turning our weapons elsewhere while those vermin still live. I go where I'm sent, fight when I'm there, and leave politics where it belongs. Watch yourself. Orzammar politics are getting near as dangerous as battle.
What's on your mind? I try not to dwell too much on the mistakes of my past, of which there are many. I would go quite mad if I did that. But I do have one regret. The greatest misstep of my life. Made even more grave because it had dire consequences for someone else. Years ago, I was assigned as mentor to a lad, Anarin. He was my first apprentice. Anarin was an elf, raised in one of the elven alienages, and he was very mistrustful of humans, especially humans in authority. All he knew of the humans was what he had seen in the alienage. He was very wary of us. What Anarin needed was time. Time to get used to his new home. Time to emerge from his shell so we could build a rapport. I gave him no such time. I was young and arrogant. He is a mage, I thought. He needs to grow up and act like one. I expected too much from him too quickly. I gave no consideration to his origin or his feelings, and he retreated further from me. All I could think of was how stubborn he was, how he was throwing away all his talent and his potential just to be difficult. Oh, age and wisdom have mellowed me. I was quite different back then. Much more unforgiving. You cannot plant crops in the cold, wintry ground. You cannot teach a student who is closed off and unresponsive. Patience is what is needed, and I learned that too late to help him. Anarin ran away from the circle one night. I had berated him over some trivial, ridiculous matter that I no longer remember. I drove him away because of something utterly unimportant. He was a child, 14 at the time of his leaving. They had his phylactery, and they hunted him down. The Templars. That is what they do. They hunt down and neutralize rogue mages. They called him Maleficar, a mage who practices forbidden magic, deserving of death. He was a child, misunderstood and lost. I begged the Templars to tell me if he suffered, if they gave him a quick death. I got no answers from them. I was his mentor, and they wouldn't even tell me what became of him. I should have known better. I had the best mentors. They were kind, compassionate. Why didn't I learn from them? I failed Aneurin. All I had to do was listen to him. He would try to talk to me, and I would tell him to concentrate on his spells. He talked about the alienage sometimes, and the Dalish. He always talked about looking for the Dalish elves. The Templars are well-trained and thorough. That he still lives, it would be a vain hope. The apprentices that came after Aneurin benefited greatly from the lessons I learned from him. In a sense, he was my teacher, and I his student. And there it is. My story, my one greatest regret. What's on your mind? No, you won't. You wonder sometimes, don't you? If your life would be better if you weren't who you are. When I was a young woman in the tower, I came to the realization that the circle would be my life, and I would know no other. Family, love, a simple life. These were things that others took for granted, that I would never have. It made me very moody. All I could think of was being trapped in that tower with no way out and no end in sight. I started hating my life and myself, and one night I found myself in the tower's chapel. I was seeking refuge, maybe answers. I must have looked tearful or made some noise, because the revered mother came out and decided to speak to me. And because I had no one else to talk to, I talked to her. I must have said many silly things, but she told me that the Maker puts us all on our paths for a reason, and fighting our intended course is what causes so much anguish. I thought the old biddy was full of rubbish. I was 15, maybe 16, and I knew everything. So I left, but I always found my way back to that chapel. And as the years passed, I began to see the truth of her words. We were supposed to be polar opposites, mage and priest. But we weren't. There was much about us that was the same. You're not the first person to have said that, believe me. I was once just as angry at everything as you were. You can scream and cry and be angry about life as a Grey Warden. Or you can accept it and allow yourself to see the good in it. This is your choice. What's on your mind? I will answer to the best of my ability.
What do you wish of me?
Well, aren't you sweet and attentive? Vast holes carved from the stone of the mountain, lined with the chiseled marble figures of paragons, so fine as to mirror life itself. Soaring ceilings grand enough to make any man forget the sky and the sun, and to question the reason for their existence. I have heard of these things and more, but none prepared me for what I have seen here. It is marvelous. Well, aren't you sweet and attentive?
Bottles all around?
This, my friend.
What's on your mind? It is no trouble.
Like an ale's 3 silvers a tumbler.
Welcome to Janar Family Armorers. I must say, you look like our type of people. Looking for a new set of mail. At Janar's, we have everything from leather to platinum. Of course, keep in mind we also take items on trade. No, I cannot.
This dispute over the throne is exciting, isn't it?
I knew I should have stuck to common nugs. Now I've gone and lost them too. I'll never find them the way they skitter.
Common nugs. I don't like those. They look dirty.
No way I'm going back to that supplier in Dust Town. Guess I'm shutting it down. Good on you, stranger. Only need one to turn this around.
Excuse me, do you have a moment? Oh, I actually was talking to your companions, or are you from the surface too? I've been trying forever to find someone who really knows the surface world. I don't suppose you've heard of something called the Circle? Oh, my lady, it's an honor. I've never met an actual mage. Is it true you can manipulate nature's forces with your mind? Like you were born with lyrium in your veins?
Don't let the glamour fool you, child. Wielding magic is a dangerous occupation and a great responsibility.
I've been trying to reach someone there for years. I've sent missives with every caravan, but I never get a reply. I want to know if they would accept me for study. That would be wonderful. My name is Dagna, daughter of Janar of the Smithcasts. Tell them I've already begun reading the Tevinter Imperium's Ferticum Kadab, and it's just fascinating. Did you know the Imperial Magister Lords once had genealogies of every human family known to produce a mage child?
She's so enthusiastic and adorable. I'm glad we're helping her.
Oh, I'll go pack my bags right now. I'll be waiting by my father's shop.
Greetings, and welcome to Garen Garrison's luxury goods shop. Wow, there are a lot of you. And I've never seen one of those before. The things they come up with. What was I saying? Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't notice. Most people don't anymore. Or maybe they're too polite to mention it. I had a little incident a few years back. Too much time with the raw lyrium ore, you know. Maybe it was a bad vein. I cut myself and the dust got straight in the blood. Since then, it's been a little hard for me to concentrate. Except when forging, then I'm straight as an arrow. Best work I've ever seen. Look around the shop. See for yourself. Well, it's the lyrium, you know. Raw blood of the earth. It's more alive than you and me. Most of the time, that's no problem. When it's all bundled up in a piece of steel, it'll leave you alone. But handling the ore directly, sometimes you get burned. It's not just your skin it takes off. It'll burn directly into your mind. Right. Best in the trade, you know. I work the ore myself.
Does that lead out to the deep roads? I hear they're crawling with darkspawn.
Go on, I'm out of the nug game. Got nothing to sell. Saraka, I'm back in the game, such as it is. I don't have much besides gratitude, but find a bunch more of these and I'll toss you whatever I've found.
Sorry, but I cannot allow you past the front lines without Adesh's permission. And I've heard nothing of any new patrols scheduled to leave today.
It'll be our business when we drag your corpse out. The Darkspawn have pulled back, but they are down there.
Either we finally have the edge, which I doubt, or the beasts are building up numbers for the next attack.
The surface? But I thought the vermin never went up that far except
during blights. Ancestors save us if that's what's happening. Of course not. Down here you're bound to run into giant spiders, deep stalkers, and other vermin. Ugly beasts they are. Walk on two legs, but they have the head of a worm and hunt in packs. Watch out. They're not afraid to take on a group their own size. Aye, for your sake, I hope you've no reason to come here again. Just can't get enough of our clammy mine air, can you? Did you need something? Of course not. Down here you're bound to run into giant spiders, deep stalkers, and other vermin. Into the deep roads? Not without a full unit of soldiers to back you, my friend. Or Adesh's permission to risk yourself. Orzammar can't afford to lose its citizens or honored guests on casual visits to the deeps. Aye, for your sake, I hope you've no reason to come here again.
hope the Assembly picks a king soon. Is it true there's civil war?
I did not expect to see you again. The noble houses do love their luxuries, don't they?
Much changed. My lord, you're back. They told me you were dead. I'm flattered you remember, my lord. Perhaps you also remember our night of passion, the evening of your first commission, or the son we created, who now has his birthright stripped from him because you got yourself exiled. I've had to care for him myself, nurse him, clothe him. I can't work. No one wants to lie with a woman who's used up her fertility on some castless brat. How could you do this to us? Then help us. Convince your family to take you back, or at least declare you honorably dead and acknowledge your son. Please, think about what his life will be otherwise. Thank you. I guess you do care after all. I take back all the times I cursed your name.
Legion of the Dead sighted. The public has a right to know.
Is it true there's civil war on the surface?
Don't talk to me, Exile. I couldn't believe it. Elman Helmi's girl in love with a smith. Don't talk to me, Exile. Your brother... Trian was my friend.
Welcome to Lord Haramont's estate.
You should have been the elder.
I'm surprised to see you back, Exile. Lord Haramont asked me to find out why you're here. That may be, and that is a terrible risk for the service. But even if the world would end tomorrow, Lord Haramont cannot ignore Balin today. He cannot afford to trust anyone of unproven loyalties. You're asking the King of Orzammar to send armies to the surface, but Orzammar has no king and we have no army. Right now, the men who should be fighting Darkspawn are brawling in the street. If this situation is not resolved, we face civil war. If you want Lord Haramont's time now, you'll have to prove you have no intention of turning against him later. If you wish to show you have no loyalty to Balin, then work against him in Haramont's name. Balin is hosting a proving today, supposedly to honor his father's memory. The Deshers take it very seriously, and unfortunately, Balin found some way to blackmail or intimidate House Haramont's best fighters into stepping down. It would certainly make your loyalties loud and clear. Balin would never work with anyone who humiliated him in that way. Haramont would have no fear of meeting with you then. Excellent. The arena is located off the Commons. Talk to the Proving Master and tell him you're entering Lord Haramont's roster. The key fighters we lost were Guidon and Baisel. You can look for them in the fighters' preparation chambers behind the ring. And be sure it's before the fights begin. After the first bout, no one may change the roster. If you need to find me again, I will wait in the Tapster's Tavern off the Commons. There is no better place to hear gossip. Perhaps even word of your victory.
Allow me. I could do that for you. What now?
These are the personal apartments of High General Lord Harrowmont. No visitors are allowed.
Lord Harrowmont was hoping you'd return.
If you're looking for...
Well, aren't you sweet and attentive?
Drink.
Well, aren't you sweet and attentive?
If you're looking for Lord Huron Ferendon,
News of the hour. Lord Harrowmont in I just get paid to speak the truth. If you have an issue, speak to my employer.
You know, after all this is over, I wouldn't mind getting a job here. I could sing, tell stories, help the king get items from high shelves.
Greetings. Greetings.
No one enters the prince's estate without an invitation.
Greetings.
What you did to Trian was unforgivable.
What do you wish of me?
What's on your mind? It is no trouble.
Allow me. I could do that for you. Just like you wanted.
Trian was a good man. What you did was unforgivable.
Is it true there's civil war on the surface, too?
You're here to support your brother, of course.
Atrashvala.
I heard you had returned to his exile. What insult do you mean by coming here? It's difficult to believe that. After you left, many cruel accusations fell on Balin. He could only assume they came from you. Why would he trust you now? I have seen this treaty in the Shaper's libraries, but it is only the king it compels, and your father has unfortunately passed on. If you seek Balin's help, he can only give it from the throne, and only if no one stands in the way of his getting there. I'm saying that if you want a king who'll heed your call to fight the Darkspawn, you'll have to show you've put the past behind you. I won't be passing that message on, Exile. Your brother will be king soon. He's the one who decides who lives and who dies.
The assembly is in session. Enter quietly if you wish to observe.
You can expect no welcome from House
How
Iduna.
dare you show your face after what you've done to House
I hear there's a war going on.
I'm surprised to see you here, traitor.
Thief! Warden, I'm outraged. A thief in the Shaperate. What have we been reduced to? I did. He was bald, with the most garish brand across his head. Almost like he took pride in being castless. Imagine! He's probably in the slums somewhere. As if he'd find a buyer for a stolen tome in Dust Town. They couldn't know the value.
Are you with that warrior girl who's always here? Oh, pardon me. Were you looking for a particular volume? Not that I could really help. I don't know the libraries very well. I'm just doing some research. Not exactly, but I'm looking for any birth records from the old Orton Tig. It fell in the last blight, and my mother's family claims to be related. If I'm an Orton, it means I'm noble. I'd have my own house, a seat in the assembly. Unfortunately, any records would be buried in the Tig's ruins, somewhere in the deep roads. A Grey Warden? Mother always said that if anyone could find the Tig, it was the Wardens. I hear Prince Balin and Lord Harrowmont have both been sending out small teams these days. Yes, if you can find the Tig in any records, that could do it. That could prove I'm a noble. If you could. Maybe now that you're looking, it's almost too much to hope.
When I last walked this hall, Endrin was king and Orzammar was at peace. The memories often speak of the swiftness with which change overtakes us. But it is different to see it firsthand. I apologize, Warden. I should not burden a stranger with such thoughts. I am Zebor, the Shaper of Memories. The Exile's return is written in the memories, as a Grey Warden's visit to renew the ancient alliance. Ask, and I shall do my best to answer. All dwarves who die return to the stone as ancestors, to guide their families forever. But only one every few generations rises to Paragon. A Paragon is a dwarf whose accomplishments change Orzammar so much that the Assembly recognizes they've been born blessed. They are venerated as living ancestors and found a new noble house forever bearing their name. There is one Paragon of this generation, a woman named Branka. She was born a smith, but her inventions caught the Assembly's eye. Before she had seen 20 years, she created a smokeless coal. It could burn in a cave without vents and no one would choke from it. It earned her paragon status. She went into the deep roads 2 years ago seeking out secrets of the ancient smiths. She never returned. According to our legends, 7 brothers founded our empire. The youngest, Bloadlik, was the wisest and was chosen king. His children formed the noble caste. The eldest, Kiachet, trained his sons to defend their king. They became the warrior caste. Shatkyar founded the artisans. Orzatyar forged our first swords. It was Orzammar who dug the mines that became our city's foundations. The twins Koapar and Noct both founded trading houses, but Noct was wounded in battle. On his recovery, he swore to serve his brother's sons. The casteless descend from criminals and those repudiated by their own families, or who chose to go to the surface and live by human laws. They have no ancestors to guide them and no families to claim them. They should not have been born. Their parents defied their shame and brought cursed children into the world. It's better they die young. Their births are not recorded in the memories. In Orzammar, they do not exist. Is there something more pleasant you wish to discuss? Perhaps the books here can make up for the lack of attention you paid your elders. We were a great empire once, and our land stretched through the deep roads. Kal Sharok was capital then, but we lost too many battles. We lost our golems, and we lost our territory. Now the Empire is simply ruined tunnels filled with Darkspawn. At the other side of the old Empire, during the last Blight, the kings of Orzammar knew they couldn't hold everything. They sealed the deep roads, abandoning everyone still trapped in far-flung settlements. It was the only way to survive. Kal Sharok is the only other city to outlast the Blight. We only rediscovered them recently, and they still haven't forgiven us. The Paragon Caridon, a smith of unsurpassed genius, invented the golems. For years they were our weapon against the Darkspawn. One golem is worth 12 dwarves in battle, but Caridon's Tig is far into the deep roads. When it fell, we lost his secret to creating golems. There are books about it along these walls if you would read more. Your presence here has been recorded in the memories. I wish I knew what significance it has.
Allow me. I could do that for you. What's next?
Are you looking for records of the Grey Wardens? We have many.
Your mind has gone to dust if you think we would pass such a writ. Half our houses would go broke without the surface trade.
The proposal is only effective until we have a king to ensure we are respected by the surfacers.
Leaving you conveniently positioned to take over all contracts. I'll see your head on a pike first.
Deshers, lords and ladies of the Assembly. I've already doubled the guard to prevent violence. Must I summon more?
Steward Bandalore, Balin's sympathizers are tying our hands with trivialities. They may as well open us to the sky.
I suggest we put the matter to a vote.
And I suggest you have a taste of my family's mace.
Enough! The Assembly is in recess until the members can regain control of their emotions. Stone-forsaken fools and dusters. So it's true. The exile has returned, and we are to treat you as a respected guest. Even as warden, you are very like your brother. Perhaps it is best the Assembly is preoccupied. Your tone would only inflame them. Respect for your role is great, but you won't receive a proper hearing until we have a king on the throne. Troubling, but it will still seem distant compared to the empty throne. The Assembly is blind to all else. This is their world, and it ended when Endron died. I must admit, Warden, I am at a loss myself. It lies with Prince Balin or Lord Harrowmont, and they are slow to trust anyone in these uncertain times. I only wish there was more I could do for you.
I require a moment of silence to take in this magnificent sight.
Is it true there's civil war on the surface, too?
Greetings.
News of the hour.
Gods and damnation!
Horsefit. Indeed.
This has dragged on too long. It's an insult to King Endron's memory.
Raise your voice in support.
Nothing I say is provably false.
If you're looking for Lord Dulin Forender, you'll find him at Tapstone.
We never lost faith in you.
You should have been the elders.
Lord Balin is, bad.
I did not expect to see you.
It'll be 2 years tomorrow. By all the holy sodding ancestors.
That's excellent armor.
How can you people just ignore that?
I remember when the Grey Wardens would visit. Oh,
Just can't get enough of our clammy mine air, can you? Did you need something? Into the deep roads? Not without a full unit of soldiers to back you, my friend. Or Adesher's permission to risk yourself. Orzammar can't afford to lose its citizens or honored guests on casual visits to the deeps. Of course not. Down here, you're bound to run into giant spiders, deep stalkers, and other vermin. A few outposts. Legion of the Dead, mostly. Fools that they are. Some scavenger types, too. Aye, for your sake, I hope you've no reason to come here again. Just can't get enough of our clammy mine air, can you? Did you need something? Aye, for your sake, I hope you've no reason to come here again.
So, I've been hearing certified.
I didn't expect you back so soon. Have you been to the deep roads already? The Assembly doesn't allow anyone into the deep roads alone. If you want to get through, you need permission from one of the Deshers. I don't suppose you know any, do you?
Right.
Blast and damnation!
Yes. Pigeon crap.
Indeed.
Yes.
Yes.